Hello, my friends. While we are all waiting for Trump to talk to Putin and for any steps to be taken toward preparing a ceasefire, at least for 30 days, activity on the front lines isn't slowing down. In fact, it's increasing. If a 30-day pause happens, the war won't resume in the same way, and whatever territory the Russians seize during this time will remain under their control. Meanwhile, Rubio has made another statement about stopping the war. The first step toward achieving peace is a ceasefire. The second step is joint negotiations or dialogue through shuttle diplomacy, said US Secretary of State Rubio. He emphasized that skipping the first phase is not an option. It's hard to negotiate a long term end to the war while they're still shooting at each other. At the same time, reports continue to emerge about plans to send around 10,000 peacekeepers to Ukraine. Allies may send more than 10,000 peacekeepers to Ukraine, writes The Times, citing an online meeting of the coalition of willing countries discussing the plan. A source told the publication that significant progress has been made but refused to disclose which countries would contribute and how, as this information could aid Russia. The main force will likely consist of troops from the UK and France. It would be great if Trump pressured Putin to agree to this, but for now, Medvedev claims that such a move would mean a direct war with NATO. Macron and Starmer are playing dumb. Time and again, they are told that peacekeepers must come from non NATO states. No, they insist on sending tens of thousands. Just admitted already, you want to provide military aid to the neo Nazis in Kiev. That means war with NATO. Go consult with Trump, scumbags. Of course, Medvedev has previously claimed that Russia is already fighting NATO in Ukraine, but he seems to have conveniently forgotten about that. And Lindsey Graham has warned that Putin shouldn't play games with Trump and would be better off accepting his terms. President Trump can convince Putin to come to the negotiation table, agree to a ceasefire, and find a mutually beneficial solution for both countries to stop the killing. You'll never know unless you try, and there is only one person on the planet who can do this, and that's President Trump. If Putin plays games with Trump, he will regret it. Clearly, Putin is being told outright that joking around with Trump isn't a good idea. Unfortunately, this doesn't speed up the process of stopping the war. Every day, offensive operations and shelling continue, destroying cities and killing hundreds of people. So let's take a closer look at the situation on the front lines, starting with the Kursk direction. Here, Russian forces continue pushing toward the Ukrainian border, and unfortunately, they are making gains. Yesterday, it was confirmed that they recaptured two more villages and are moving further. On this small section of the front, up to 20 assaults are recorded daily. Even when the front line was much larger, the number of daily assaults remained the same. This shows that the Russians are throwing everything they have into this push. For now, there haven't been any new changes overnight, and Ukrainian forces are working to eliminate advancing Russian troops to prevent them from entering Sumy region. However, this situation remains extremely difficult, and this operation could lead to even greater territorial losses in this region. According to the latest reports, Russia has concentrated a 60,000 strong force in the Kursk direction, a significant number. At the same time, the main Russian forces remain concentrated in the Pokrovsk direction. Here, the Russians continue their assaults on Novoalexandrivka, Kotline, Prominy, Mirolubivka, and Yelizavetivka, with heavy shelling ongoing. While there have been no territorial changes in the past 24 hours, the situation remains extremely difficult. More and more photos of destroyed Pokrovsk are emerging online following strikes with cab bombs. Russian aviation continues to deliver the most devastating attacks, and F 16s are unable to stop them. Today, Macron announced that Ukraine may receive Mirage 2000 fighter jets. In early February, French Armed Forces Minister Sébastien Lecornu confirmed the arrival of the first Mirage 2000 jets in Ukraine, supplied by Paris. However, he didn't disclose the exact number of aircraft delivered. Whether these jets will be effective against cab bombs remains a big question. In the Korakhove direction, Russian forces are pushing toward Kotlarivka, assaulting Oleksievka, Konstantinopel, and Rozliv. While no territorial changes have been recorded in the past 24 hours, the intensity of attacks remains high, with heavy shelling continuing. In the Velyka Novosilka direction, activity has temporarily decreased. The main attacks are now concentrated on Novopil, with attempts to break through near Novosilka. However, Ukrainian forces have managed to repel all assaults over the past day, and no changes in positions have been reported. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the situation remains critical. Russian forces continue their assaults on Sherbaki, Pyatikhatki, Kamiansk, while attempting to break through to Stepove. Most concerningly, Russian sources are already claiming control over these three settlements and are reportedly trying to fortify their positions there. If the Ukrainian forces are forced to retreat from all four locations, a significant portion of territory could fall under Russian control, bringing them closer to Zaporizhzhia. However, no geolocated video evidence has confirmed Russian control yet, leaving hope that Ukrainian forces can prevent them from securing these gains. We're waiting for the battle reports. In the Kherson direction, Russian forces are attempting to advance on the islands with heavy shell on the right bank of the Dnipro River. Yesterday, reports indicated that a civilian was killed in Antonivka due to a drone strike. Regarding Crimea, Turkey reaffirmed its stance yesterday, stating that it doesn't recognize the annexion. On the anniversary of Crimea's annexion by the Russian Federation through an illegal referendum, Turkey's Minister of Foreign Affairs once again declared that Ankara doesn't recognize the de facto situation on the peninsula, which violates international law. Turkey continues to support Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty. We will closely monitor developments in Crimea, particularly regarding the Crimean Tatars, the peninsula's indigenous people, and keep their situation on the international agenda, Turkish diplomats stated. Now, moving to the Toretsk direction. Heavy clashes continue in the central part of the city. Additionally, offensive actions have been recorded near the village of Druzhba. Russian forces have also intensified attacks further south in the areas of Sukha Balka and Alexandropol, where assaults have begun. It appears that the Russians are attempting to straighten the front line to facilitate further advances. In the Chasiv Yar direction, Russian troops are storming Orikhovo-Vasilievka. However, overall activity in this sector remains relatively low, and the front line hasn't changed in the past 24 hours. In the Siversk direction, Russian forces continue storming Grigorivka and Verkhnyokamensky while attempting to break through near Ivanodarivka. No territorial changes have been recorded in the past 24 hours, but the attacks persist. In the Lyman direction, the Russians are assaulting Yampolivka and pushing forward near Ivanivka and Novolubivka. Shelling remains intense, and Russian forces are actively using FPV drones in this area. However, despite the ongoing assaults, there have been no confirmed changes to the front line in the past 24 hours. In the Borova direction, Russian forces are storming Bohuslavka, attempting breakthroughs near Lozova, assaulting Kopanki, and pushing from Raihorodka. There is no activity further south, and the front line has remained unchanged for the past 24 hours. In the Kupiansk direction, Russian activity has decreased. Last week, Russian forces attempted multiple breakthroughs in different areas but failed to achieve any significant gains, leading them to reorganize. In the Dvorichna area, assaults continue near the village of Petro-Ivanivka, but all attacks have been repelled so far and the front line remains stable. In the Kharkiv direction, the Russians continue shelling without launching any offensive operations, leading to a temporary stabilization of the situation. However, in the Vovchansk area, fighting remains intense, where the Russian forces conducting multiple assaults daily. Despite this, the Ukrainian forces continue to repel the attacks, keeping the front line unchanged. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.